We visited with golf course superintendent Chris Zugel on the Straits Course at Whistling Straits prior to hosting its third PGA Championship this year to talk about the course preparation and expectations going into the tournament.
Whistling Straits is located an hour north of Milwaukee, along the lakeshore just north of Sheboygan. That's a link-style golf course that runs approximately 2 miles north and south along the shoreline. We stay fairly busy. It's a destination, so there's people from all over the world that come here, and we try and keep it so that as they play it, it's in pristine condition so that they have good memories to take away from it. People expect to play the course that the PGA Championship's being played on, especially this year when they're out here. They're looking at where the pros will play from. They're looking at where their drive is compared to where the pros will hit it. The caddies out here are informative with the guests, and they'll let them know, like, that they would have carried you by 100 yards here, or this is where they'll be targeting, or that type of thing. But it's what we do out here is try and keep those conditions, championship conditions, throughout the year, not only just during the week that the tournament's here. It's a challenge because with the amount of play that we get and the traffic that comes through here, it's definitely hard to do. But the staff we have is superb, and they can do just about anything.
Zugel's history in turf maintenance is unique, bouncing around, ultimately ending up in his true passion, golf.
I started here in 2000 building the Irish course, helping out as that was being constructed out of college. After we built the Irish course, I left and went down to Florida for a couple years. Met my wife, then moved her back up here, and bounced around from the Straits course and then the river course at Black Wolf Run as an assistant. And then I left here in the winter of 2007 to go down to work for the Milwaukee Brewers, and spent the 2008 season working for the Milwaukee Brewers, and then came back up here in 2009. I think ultimately my heart is in golf. I originally went to school in the hopes of getting into sports turf management. My grandfather worked for the Milwaukee Brewers, helped unload the semis when they came from Seattle. It's kind of in our blood. I'm a huge baseball fan, and I always wanted to get into baseball, but after working on a golf course and spending all the time out here, I feel like you kind of miss it when you're not around it. You miss the mornings, you miss, the hard work is, it's a pain at sometimes, but it really, you miss it when you're not around it.
Coming out of college and stepping into a grow-in situation helped Zugel learn a lot about golf course maintenance.
It was pretty beneficial. At that time, coming out of college, I graduated from college in 2000, and the golf industry was booming. There were golf courses being built left and right. Coming out of school and being placed into a grow-in situation where you go through kind of the whole gamut of golf course maintenance, construction, everything at once, and you learn a lot. There's definitely a lot going on here that I got to experience firsthand, and it was super beneficial to my growth, and I think ultimately to my career.
Zugel says he maintains championship conditions.
Right now we mow at about .375. We mow on average every 2 days about. The rough is cut probably once, twice a week, depending on how it grows. When it starts to dry out, we don't cut as much, just obviously because it's not growing as much. But in the spring, when it's really starting to grow, we're at it at least twice a week, cutting the rough. Greens are mowed every day, tees about every other day, as well as collars.
Fescue borders the course throughout and is maintained annually.
We mow it once a year in the fall, and then we, throughout the year we target some broadleaf weeds, hand removal of weeds, things like that. But I always tell everybody that it looks like it's no maintenance, but there is a lot of maintenance that goes into it. There's a lot of area out here that has it, and to keep it looking natural, it takes a little bit of work.
Irrigation isn't relied on as much as most courses, but it still plays a pivotal role at Whistling Straits.
Irrigation, we have it. We don't use it too often. We're lucky here in Wisconsin. We're blessed with quite a bit of rain, so we're not irrigating as frequently as some other places that may need it. So it's a little bit of a challenge because we got to keep on top of our system, because we might not run it for weeks at a time, and then when you need it, it has to work. So there's a lot of preventative maintenance that goes into it.
Even though not much changes in preparing for the tournament, Zugel hopes that his crew is safe and has fun, and that the course plays to the best of its ability.
It's nice when the bleachers come up and the chalets come out, because some of the bunkers that we have get covered and we can't get to them, so it takes a little bit of weight off the guy's shoulders as far as maintaining those. But overall, there's not really too much changing in our daily routine. As we start to get closer, we start to really dial in fertilizing and watering and that type of thing. I hope that they all stay safe, first of all, that they do everything they do on a daily basis and stay safe at it. I hope that it gets a little drier. In 2010, it was pretty wet. We had quite a bit of rain that moved through before the tournament. At the end of the tournament, it started to dry out a little bit, but I hope that it plays a little firmer, plays a little bit more linksy. We haven't been too lucky with the weather that we've had in previous PGA Championships, where it hasn't been as dry, as windy as it probably could be in years leading up to it. So I hope the golf course presents itself in a way that the best winner emerges, that the player that proves himself can come out victorious.